Hello. This video is a basic introduction to pottery. So what I've got here is my 25-pound bag of clay, and notice that the twist tie is on it. That keeps the clay fresh and moist. Got a glass of water. Got a butter knife and a fork. That's pretty useful. So in this first lesson, you're going to learn pinch pots, which is a pretty basic ceramic process. And also you're going to learn a couple of methods for joining pieces of clay together so that they stick that way permanently. So let's get started. So what we're going to make today is a little trophy. So you can make this for yourself for some kind of accomplishment that you want to award yourself for, or in this case you can make it for someone else. So it's pretty obvious who I made this one for, and give you kind of a all-around view of what it looks like. So I'm going to start out with, I've got a piece of newspaper here. That's a non-porous surface and the clay doesn't tend to stick too well to it, so that's good. I'm going to start out with a chunk of clay out of my bag. I'm going to slap it into a ball. The reason I'm slapping it is because you get areas like this that I want to remove that and make it nice and smooth. So I'm going to cup my hands like this, try to get it into as much of a sphere as possible. Now that's pretty good. So the pinch pot form, whenever you're working with clay, you're basically pinching the clay between two different things. In this case, the palm of my hand and my thumb. So I'm going to start out by opening, which basically means I am making a little dent in the clay and slowly rotating it. I'm going to keep going, and all I'm doing is opening this up to where it makes a pot form. And I want to go until my thumb is about pinky thickness from the palm of my hand. Once I've got it opened, now I can start to do the pinching process. So I'm going to have my thumb on the inside, my fingers on the outside, and I'm going to do little pinches as I rotate the pot. And I'm basically working on the bottom part of the pot down here until I get it thinned out to about pinky thickness again. That's pretty thinned out, and I'm going to start working on this middle part. And I'm pinching enough to get the clay thinned out, but not so much that I'm actually putting deep fingerprints in the pottery. Your thumb might get a little tired. Shake that off a little bit. Now that I've got the middle part done, I'm going to start working on this upper part. Once I have it all thinned out to where I like it, now I can start rolling. So I'm gonna have my hand here, have my thumb on the inside of the pot. I'm gonna roll it across the surface of my palm in order to thin it out a little bit more and to smooth the inside and outside surfaces. Once I've got that done, and the way I'm doing this, it's been 4 minutes so far. It'll take a little bit longer. I've done this before, so I'm pretty quick at it. Take your time, do a nice job. And at this point, I can do some shaping. If I want this top, for example, to be smaller, I can push in and rotate. This is called collaring. And it will make that hole in the top of the pot smaller. And what I'm wanting for this look is a little bit of a flare. So I'm going to collar in like that. And then I'm going to go back and flare this top out. Just because I like the look. Then I'm going to go back to rolling again, just a little bit, to smooth it out. Now the problem with the pinch pot is it's got this round bottom. so it doesn't want to sit upright. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and anytime you need to take a break, just turn your pinch pot upside down and lay it on the table. I'm going to take another small piece of clay. I'm going to roll out a coil. When I roll this coil out, I'll be able to use this for the handles for the trophy, plus the foot rim that goes on the bottom. Now when cutting the coil to size, you don't want to just chop it like that because it flattens the surface. I'm not sure if you can see that too well. It's a little bit out of focus, but it doesn't do well. So what I need to do is roll the butter knife across the coil like this and slowly go through the coil, and it'll end up round. So I'm going to cut a few pieces. I want 2 pieces here that are equal in length. These will be the handles. And then the length of the foot rim really doesn't matter too much. So here's one way to join 2 pieces of pottery together. This is plastic clay, so this is fairly easy. I'm going to coil this up to where it makes a circle. Put that on the bottom. And then with plastic clay at this stage, it's not leather hard to where it's crumbly like the outside of an Oreo. This is like the filling of the Oreo. I can take the plastic clay and smooth the 2 pieces into each other, just like that. And I can smooth this all around the outside. And this will make these 2 pieces of clay into one solid piece of clay, and it will not come apart. So I've got that pretty much done. Now we have one solid piece of clay made from 2. Then for the handles, I'm just going to curve these into like a letter C. Grab some of that water. Put some water on here. I'm going to rub it around. That's going to make slip on that surface. And this is a really small surface, so I really don't need to do any more than just giving it some water, make some slip, and then I'm going to stick this here on the side, press it a little bit, wiggle it around, and you'll notice as you do that, it starts to resist movement more and more, and it will pretty much glue these 2 pieces of clay together so that they become one solid piece. So I'm going to do that on the other side too. And for the medallion that I had the number 1 mom, I basically just carved that in with a pencil that I have. But for that, I rolled a ball of clay, smashed it down, carve in whatever you want on that surface, and then since this is a larger piece of clay, it's going to need some help. So this is where you score. So I grabbed the fork. It's a really good scoring tool. I'm going to score the surface here. And then I'm going to score this surface as well. This increases the surface area, so it'll make more slip. I'm going to put some water on there and rub it around. So that's covered with slip now. Do the same thing on this surface. And then I'll take the 2 pieces, press them together. The most important part is to press them together, move it around a little bit, and you'll feel that they start to resist movement. And then when it kind of stops moving, those are glued together. So work on that, and then I'll be posting on Teams some instructions for a whistle project. And it's a little more advanced, and it'll be a challenge. And I'll post some more information. Stay well.